the CSIR, we don't just do research for the sake of doing research. We do impactful research. Today I'm coming to you from the CSIR Medical Center, and I'm joined by Willis de Ronde, a CSIR engineer who will be talking to us about the National Ventilator Project. Welcome to CSIR Connect, Willis.
Thank you, I'm very glad to be here.
Willis, how did this ventilator project start?
So a couple of weeks before the lockdown, we as the CSIR in our own initiative started looking at what we think will be needed in South Africa. There was a lot of international projects already running, so could look at what the international community is doing. And then one of the things we were looking at is actually a CPAP device, so a device that gives you a constant positive airway pressure to stop your lungs from collapsing. So we decided to go into that one because it looked like something our unit would be able to do. And while we were testing that and starting initial development, there was actually a national call through the MVP project to submit people who think they could be able to supply something like that. So since we've already started with that just a few weeks before, we already had initial ideas and concepts ready, and that enabled us to get into this proposal and then basically propose the CPAP system to them. And this is the one that we have here in front of us that we've already developed quite a few of. We've already gone through approval processes, and while this was ongoing, we also decided to look into a more complex system, which is the BiPAP system. So there's a bi-level pressure in your airways, higher pressure when you inhale and lower pressure when you exhale. That system needs electronics and a lot more intelligence built into the system, so we only started that once this was stable, so that we can get something to market very quickly for South Africa for a low-risk patient that just need oxygen and don't need an invasive ventilator.
So is this designed specifically for hospitals, or can I just purchase one or get one and just plug it in at home?
So this is designed for hospitals. It runs off oxygen, then pulls in ambient air to get to the mixture that we need. To run that amount of oxygen at home is going to be quite difficult, so this is designed for hospitals. It can be used in field hospitals if they have big oxygen bottles, but wall oxygen will be better.
So just looking at this, and I'm already thinking the COVID-19 and how the country, and more specifically two provinces within the country, the Western Cape and Gauteng, are struggling with the peak. It's almost like it's hit peaks at both provinces. So when it comes to easy to use, plug in and go, especially in places such as the Cape Town International Convention Center that's been turned into a mini hospital, how user-friendly is it?
So the device is very user-friendly. There's basically only three things that you can set on the device. You can set it on and off, you can change the flow, and you can change the oxygen percentage. It does need to be run and used by a medical professional, as I said, so not for home use, but there won't be a big training needed for the medical professionals to know how to use it. In principle, it works similar to normal CPAP systems, and also a change that we've made is actually a calibrated FiO2 dial. So you can already use that to get close to the oxygen percentage that you think your patient needs without having expensive and difficult to obtain in this crisis oxygen sensors within the system. So that's an advantage of making it easier to use. And in terms of plug and play, this is the only external connection you need. This goes into an oxygen wall socket or into an oxygen bottle, and the system can run. So as long as there is an oxygen connection in the hospital space or the field hospital, it can be used. So this specific one doesn't have electronics, so if you have a big enough oxygen supply, you can use it there.
What makes it different from any other ventilator that's out there in the market?
So we've really focused on ease of manufacturing because we need to get a lot out quickly. We've tried to make it something that's easy to manufacture and not too reliant on difficult supply chain. So the international supply chain with COVID crisis have been crippled. So localization of technology is needed. So the CPAP design was done here internally at the CSIR, and then most of the components going into the CPAP itself, you can easily source within South Africa. As I said, we try to stay away from electronics in the system. And then the other thing that we did, as I said, was the oxygen FiO2 adjustment, which most of them doesn't have a dial on it. It's just more or less, and you need something else to tell you what the oxygen level is. Where with our device, you can read it off of the device.
Who is our biggest client for these ventilators?
So the CPAP system was part of the National Ventilator Program call. So this was developed for them. They have placed an order for 10,000 of these units that could go up to more units depending on the need in South Africa. And then the BiPAP level we've started developing internally, and a client has shown interest that we want to give that to.
So what else can you and the team do? I mean, the ventilator came just before the lockdown and you guys worked throughout. Thank you for that. But what else can we expect from the team?
So we're part of the manufacturing cluster, so seeing how to help South African manufacturing and localized technologies. We specifically focus on production processes and robotics. That's also what enabled us to take this one over to an electronic system, as we have experience in electronics. But we work in quite a few different sectors. We've worked in the health sector before, previous projects that you've reported on, so deliver post boxes for medicine. So basically anything where we can help the South African economy through manufacturing, anything with mechanics or electronic work in it, we can go with that. And in terms of the COVID things, do extra development on more complex ventilator systems.
Thank you very much for your time today, Willis.
Thank you, pleasure.
That's all we had time for on CSIR Connect for you this week. Thank you for watching. Have a fantabulous weekend and stay safe.